corporate recruiter here to review your resumes. This resume is of a software engineer, and it's awful. I know this because they put in how many applications it takes for them to get an interview, which is about 150 plus to 1. So again, your application ratio is how many applications it takes to get an interview, and you want that to be lower than 1 in 50. Anything higher than 1 in 50 is a problem. So when I'm looking for a software engineer, I only have 20 seconds to find what I need. So, can I find it in those 20 seconds? If so, they pass, which again, since the ratio is terrible, I don't think I will. But let's see. And go. All right. This is unneeded. Okay, I can't use anything here. Okay, I don't know what you are. AWS is good. Is this full stack? I think you're a full stack dev, but I don't see enough of what I need for a full stack. Nope, but then you have Java, and then you have SQL, and then that's it, decline. So, this resume right here is probably the most common type of resume I see as a recruiter, and it has so many things wrong with it. Every single person seems to make these mistakes. So, mistake number 1 is your formatting. This formatting is bad. This is a massive amount of bolding that is just screaming into my eyes and actually makes it harder to find what I need, not easier. So, you need to remove the bolding, and your formatting in general should look like this. This is the formatting you want to use. It's on my website. It's free. The link is below. Is this, right? This is easy to read. And you may be thinking, well, hold on, this pops. This is exciting. This is as boring as oatmeal. And yeah, that's a feature. That's not a bug. You want your resume to look boring like this. When your resume is boring and easy to read, we can read more of it. Because as you saw, I was barely able to get this far down in their resume. So, formatting issues aside, of which there are plenty, this person is also an international, I'm assuming, which is going to tank their ratio, but I am going to review it as if it was not an international, and even if they were not an international, this is a terrible resume. So, the other thing we need is this. This should be one line. I don't need your coursework. It is irrelevant. I don't need this if you've already gotten... Oh, no, you haven't. Okay, so you are currently in there. So this should be one line, and this should be one line, and none of it should be bolded. Then the technical skills section. Delete it. Every single person tries to tell you a technical skills section is needed. I am not sure why everybody fights so hard to lie to candidates about that, but a technical skills section is not needed. A technical skills section at best is superfluous. At worst, it actively harms your application ratio. So what I want instead is these words, all right? These were some of the correct words. The problem is you did not tell me them here. So when recruiters and hiring managers are looking through resumes, what we look for is qualifications. Now, people think we look for keywords, and that's like a quarter of the truth, because a qualification contains keywords, but is not entirely keywords, which is why a skills section doesn't work. So, what a qualification is a keyword, again, which this is a skill that a recruiter or hiring manager is looking for, in this case, Java or JavaScript or TypeScript, plus how you used it, and the reason or result of you using it, and where you used that. So those 4 things combine into a qualification. So yes, we are looking for keywords, but we're not only looking for keywords. If we were only looking for keywords, this would be enough for me to move you forward, but it's not. And this is where almost every single candidate gets it wrong, is they think we're only looking for this, or the ATS is only looking for this, which is not the case. We are looking for these words here. Under a job, under a project, under an internship. Those are what we're looking for. And if we don't find those in this section, we cannot move you forward. And that is, I would say, the most common mistake that everybody makes, is they shove everything that we could need here, but give us zero context about how they use them, which makes it so that we have to reject them. And I understand people are probably raging at your keyboards right now, typing something about how they're right there and X means Y and it's implied, but you can never imply something on your resume. That is like resume rule number 1 is anything that you imply you don't have. You have to explicitly show how you used it and the reason and result. So that is one of the bigger problems that everybody has. Now, for a software specific issue, this person did not pick a stack. So software engineers are divided into 5 primary stacks. Are there more than that? Yeah, but they're not as common. So that's full stack, backend Python, backend Java, backend C#, .NET, or front end. And if your resume is not tailored to one of those stacks, then you will get rejected. And in this case, this resume is not tailored to one of those stacks. It's got a little bit of full stack, it's got a little bit of front end, it's got a little bit of back end, and it has like 3 other languages as well. So it's got like Python and Java and JavaScript. Actually, did I even see JavaScript? Yeah, I didn't actually. Hold on. Did I not see JavaScript? Only there. Yeah, so I only see Java and Python out of the corner of my eyes, and you would need 2 separate resumes for those. So pick a stack. In fact, if you want multiple stacks, that's fine. Just make multiple resumes. But if you do not have that stack, you will not be moving forward in 99% of the cases. And I have worked on language agnostic roles before. They're still rare. Even then, they have a preference for stack. So if anybody here ever needs more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. That is where I go over these resumes. That is where I find these qualifications from. And that is where I help people even more. But for everybody else, like, comment, subscribe, send it to your friends and family that need help, and let's go to the next resume. This is a product management intern. We don't know their ratio, and this person... well, they wrote me a bunch of stuff, but I like trying to review the resume before reading what people write, because in the real world, we don't get that context. So, for a product management intern, what we need is degree, Agile or Scrum, industry. This is going to be very specific. Is it AI? Is it CRM? Is it SDLC? I need to see a little bit of your industry, whatever industry that is. Communicate to technical and non-technical audiences. If you do not have that, I don't think I could ever move you forward. Data-driven decisions, Microsoft Office products, Outlooks, Teams, Word, Excel, meet deadlines, previous logistics or startup or product management. And that's kind of it. That's all they're looking for. Again, this is an internship. They're not expecting you, even for a master's, to be the best person ever. They're expecting you to learn. So let's review it. And 20 seconds, go. All right, degree, okay. Executed full life cycle. Okay, I don't need any of that. Conducted user research for social sharing. I don't care about that. Implemented post-hog. Okay, this has nothing I need. Validation time and rejected. Again, you're trying to impress me, right? This is the problem a lot of candidates have, is they try to impress me, and we're not looking to be impressed. We're looking for the basic tools that you've used, like this stuff. So let me read what you wrote. Assuming my page is not glitching. Okay, I need to restart that. Hold on, everybody. All right. A few things I want to know. I'm a bit of a workaholic, and I have a lot of overlap between the experience. Is this a red flag for recruiters? I mean, the red flag is the fact that you did not list anything we actually needed to move you forward in. I don't know what you mean by overlap between experience. If you're talking about do the timelines overlap, then yes, that is bad. If you're talking about you've done a little bit of everything at the same job, then no, that's not a red flag. Again, depends on what you mean by overlap. I'm still a student, so it's not like I've been working serious full-time jobs, but I don't want to worry employees either. Yeah, specifically for interns, it's okay to have overlapping stuff because they know that you're an intern and overlapping stuff makes sense. You've been doing multiple stuff. It's part-time during your studies. That makes sense. After an intern, that's when things get dicey. The startups are my own. I've been modifying the titles to reflect responsibilities and scope and make it easier for recruiters to understand. Any issues with that? Yeah. If they know that you started it, it's a bit of a red flag. They need to see success then if you started it, and they will ask you in the interview. And that is a big thing, is if a candidate has their own company, it's a red flag, except for some startups, but they still need to see that you have had a lot of success. So with it, otherwise they're just going to say no. I haven't been able to test this version excessively, but I've normally averaged about 50-ish cold apply resume interviews with past resumes. You're talking about 1 in 50 resume? I know my resume is all right, but I'm really ambitious and trying to work at a company like Google. Is this a realistic dream? If not, yeah, everything's realistic. You just need to write you need to get a little bit lucky at Google because you need to apply at the right time because, again, I'm not a FANG recruiter, but they go through so many people. And how can I improve my resume to get there? Well, you need to actually have what I need. Again, I'm not looking for MVP, writing PRDs, setting OKRs, and whatever this is you wrote this for somebody that is a master's. And there are plenty of people. In fact, there is somebody at Amazon who is very high up in recruiting who has her own YouTube channel that does not have a master's. They have a high school diploma. And they're very successful at the job. I want to be clear. This is not a dig at this person. It's just that you wrote this that you need a master's to understand. And to be clear, I have a I have a bachelor's in psychology. And I am one of the, I'd say, above average tech recruiters, and I understand a lot more of this stuff than most. This is incomprehensible to the layman. You cannot write your resume that is incomprehensible to the layman. In fact, the only thing you have, and I see this out of my corner of my eye, is this. Plan and manage agile sprints, except you put it all the way to the bottom. Like, again, where is the Microsoft Office? I know you're probably screaming at me right now, but that's what gets people hired. If you're a recruiter and you're recruiting for people that require MS Office, tell your candidates to put it in. I have made more placements in my career by putting in MS Office, such as Excel, pivot tables, and VLOOKUP, than I have any other tech stack. You need to make it basics. A resume is a minimum qualification document. It is not for you to show me that you guided improving quiz completion rate by 33%, right? Again, you're trying to brag, and I don't want that. I don't care about that. I'm just looking for this, and you don't have it. Like I'm telling you right now, I'm looking for basics, and then what you're going is, well, hold on, what about PRD, OKRs, MVPs, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't care about that. You're trying to upsell me on your own skills, and it doesn't work because I need the basics, all right? Stop upselling. And then you said, thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate your depth of experience. No worries. Again, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want to make sure you stand the best chance you have of getting a job. I was going down the wrong path, obsessing about ATSs until I found your content. Yeah, ATSs don't work how people think they work. It's everybody thinks there's some kind of magical candidate declining device, but they haven't really changed in like the 15 years they've probably out more than 15 years. I'm old. In the time that they've been alive, they're all the same. And they don't do what you think they do. They're filing cabinets, basically. I love the aerial tip. I hope I did most of your advice justice so far. So, again, formatting is not the greatest, but a big problem is the content. Remember, the content is king and queen and everything in between. If you do not have this stuff, I cannot move you forward. And this is the stuff they're looking for. So, stop with this. I don't even know what OKRs are, or PRDs, or MVPs. Is that minimum viable product, or is that most viable person? I don't know, because you didn't tell me. Make it simple, make it basic, and I'm sure that coming into the next internship cycle, you will do very well. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of I have no idea. So this person stated account manager. The problem is account manager is not necessarily a title. There's more than just that. You need to be very specific about the job title that you are looking for on your resume, because this is too broad. You need to be specific. So if you said call center account manager, or CRM account manager, or account manager for financials, I would have been able to dig deeper, but I cannot find the qualifications based on just account manager. It's kind of like just saying software engineer, in that there are multiple different stacks, and I need the specific one to move you forward, and so does the recruiter. So, what does this person say? I was referred to you by a friend who recommended your services. I spent my entire life working in call centers, and I'm trying to do a career change to a position that benefits from the skills that make a successful customer service rep, but aren't actually call centers. I'm also open to be a call center supervisor or team lead. So this is something that I'm not able to actually really help people with, is you need to have a job title in mind before you come to me. I cannot help you with just account manager or customer service or manager. It needs to be specific, because the difference between a restaurant customer service manager and a bank customer service manager is night and day. There are core skills that are transferable, but the industry matters and what they need. So I will try and find out what I believe to be the qualifications based on what they're saying, but just flat out, there's only so much I can do when I don't have a specific job title. So what's wrong with this resume? Well, one, you have a summary, which I don't need. Two, I don't know where your education is. It's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, that should be up at the top. Let's see. Then you have this. There are too many bullet points, and again, I don't know the exact qualification because account manager is broad, but this stuff is not quite, I think, what I'd be looking for. So what I believe I'd be looking for an account manager in most places is how you handled the people and a bit of the product. And this is not enough, right? Provided coaches and training to customer care staff and new hires to improve customer service and product knowledge. What product? How did you provide the coaching? What was the reason that you needed the product knowledge? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Also, I don't know what you were working on here at Wells Fargo. Provided coaching to other staff in order for them to provide excellent customer service. How did you do that? What was the result of that? I don't know. You did not tell me. Conducted trainings on using automated software tools. What tools? This entire thing is scrubbed of anything I need to move forward. Right? I need you to be very specific. This is why these sentences don't really work, is what did you do? How did you do it? What is the reason and result of that? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Answered customer inquiries regarding existing equipment finance accounts. Why? Why is that relevant? I don't know. You did not tell me. Did you do that using Excel, Office, Word, PDFs, Figma? I don't know. Did you use a CRM? Did you use Jira? Again, I don't know. You did not tell me. Provided technical support to customers using My Account self-service portal. What does that mean? Again, I don't know. You don't tell me. And then developed and cataloged knowledge pertaining to equipment, finance policies, and procedures. Why? Why is that relevant? Again, I'm not looking for metrics of increased productivity by 20% or blah, blah, blah by 35%. What I'm looking for is the how you did it and the what you did with it. And what was the reason? What's the purpose? So this is why you're having issues, is this is so vague to the point where there's really nothing here for me to review. So I need you to go back to the drawing board and figure out what type of role you're going for first, then let me know and have those qualifications be in your resume, and then I can review this more. So let's go to the next resume. This is a DevOps engineer. So in the United States, what we're looking for in a DevOps engineer is Cloud, DevOps, CI/CD, or GitHub, Lab, Jenkins, Docker, Ansible, Linux, Xenix, Red Hat, CentOS, Amazon Linux. Again, I don't think I'm saying Xenix right. I don't actually know how to pronounce that. SQL, Infrastructure as Code, IAC, Terraform, DynamoDB, Google Cloud, Docker, Kubernetes, Helm, Vault, IaaC, security practices, network protocols, firewalls, SOC, and cross-functional. So, can I find that in 20 seconds? Let's go. All right. Okay. Diploma, built a Kubernetes cluster in K3. I don't think I need that. Virtual IPs for all the node. I don't need that. Continuous delivery. Do I need the just CD? PostgreSQL, ASP.NET, Core React, and SQL. And then I saw this down here with that. So my issue here is I just don't have enough. This is, I think, their third or second resume, and it's better than the previous one. I've changed my resume, so it'll be close to your template. Yes, you do have my template. It is good. I wasn't sure I should list my project experience. How should I separate each project? Need your advice if possible. So you wrote formatting-wise, this is good. My big problem now is I just don't have enough. And I don't know if I need a full stack cert. as part of the education. I don't know if I really need that or not. This stuff I do need. Again, we are basing this as if it was in the US because I don't know. I can't read other languages of other job boards to find out if they're that different. But my problem here is I just don't have enough. So, like, let's look for cloud, right? Cloud, I don't see any cloud. I don't actually see any DevOps, right? I only see it here, not here. I need to see some of that. CI/CD is okay. It's here. I may have preferred it a little bit higher, but you already mentioned it here, and I don't really need it there. And then what were you working on? Linux. There. Like, this is a relatively solid sentence, and it should probably be up at the top. Like, created a CI/CD pipeline with the Tudo app and GitLab with Docker builds and automatic deployment to Linux server. That's probably one of your better sentences. So we took out this, right? So we have CI/CD. We have Linux. That's good. We have SQL. But then I don't really have infrastructure as code. I don't have Terraform. I don't have DynamoDB. I don't have any type of cloud, which I wrote twice by accident. I think I saw Docker. Yeah, Docker is good. So we have Docker. But yeah, I'm just missing it, right? Like, this has 30% of what I need, give or take. So Kubernetes is good. Helm, and then Vault, and then I don't really see enough about security practices. So yeah, I'm going to say you only have about 30 to 40% of what I need, and I need more than that. So again, it's not that you wrote these wrong or anything, it's just I need more. Like, I don't really care about K3 or Raspberry Pi. I do care about Kubernetes, but I don't know if I care about Kubernetes clusters. I don't really care about high availability Cube. I don't care about Argo CD, since I'm looking more for CI/CD rather than just CD, and you have it down here. So you do have it, and I just need more. Right? Like, this is probably one of the reasons you're not getting any luck, is you don't have quite enough here that you're showing in any of these projects. So I need to see some DevOps. I need to see some cloud. I need to see just Kubernetes, not the other stuff. I need some security practices or network protocols or firewalls, and something else involving DevOps. But again, you're closer now than you were previously. This might get some interviews, although I would recommend just moving this to the top, because that's really good. A good bullet point. So that's all I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of an intern for a software engineer. So what we need for an intern software engineer, in pretty much every intern except for master's candidates, is just a basic knowledge of the tech stack. Like, everybody gets way too complicated with it. They go like, oh, I used EC2 and hyper-scaling Kubernetes architecture to create an AI that conquered the world. And it's like, we're literally just looking for, like, Python, Docker, SQL, AWS. So those things I need. I also need to see that you can work well with others and take direction and criticism as an intern, especially because this is, well, probably your first corporate job, and we need to make sure that you are not going to go crash out. So can I find that in 20 seconds? Also, they have a 1 in 100 ratio, which is not good, but could be a lot worse. So go. All right. Formatting's bad, but at least you graduated. Contribute to open source projects, GitHub, CI/CD plus. Okay, that's actually solid. Large existing content C. Okay, don't really care about this. Collaborative experience, developer. Okay, good. Intern of React on Agile preference. Okay. This is not the worst. This is probably exactly what a 1 in 100 is. Is you have the core basics of what I need, but it's really hard to find, and you don't quite write them the way I would need to move you forward for the vast majority of jobs. But if they are able to dig deeper into it, it shows that you kind of have what we need. So, which is about a 1 in 100, which is, it fails on most of them, but it's not abysmal enough to never get interviews. So, what did you write to me? I am mainly seeking internships, and I have interviewed with like 3 companies, just looking at how I can improve my resume so that I can stand out to recruiters. So what you need to do is rewrite how you did this stuff. So first off, again, formatting. Your formatting should look like this. not like this. But then we go down into the actual bullet points, and you're almost correct in what I want, right? Contributing to open source project 1 and 2 to allow for CI. This is close to how I want you to write it. I want you to instead say, worked on open source projects, and then put their names, and then you can put the 50 plus GitHub stars for a C++/C compilation for our educational assembly language, right? Again, mostly the same. That's actually a pretty solid sentence. Then we get to this one, and this is where it starts to fall apart, is contributed to large existing code base. Well, didn't you just say that in the previous one? Using C, and again, I don't care how many lines of code, and testing implementation extensively using Bash, don't care about, scripts and PowerShell, don't care about, which demonstrates the ability to understand and debug legacy systems. No, it doesn't. They're not going to know that. There's nothing I need in this sentence. This could be safely removed and would probably only help, because this is an okay sentence again. Collaborated with experienced developers using Git, PR merge, managing asynchronous code review across different time zones. That's good. That shows you can work with others. I would prefer you used a different word than collaborating, because collaborating is very broad, and collaborating could just mean you entered your name and did one line of code, or it could mean you built the whole thing up yourself. So I would instead say worked with experienced developers using Git, like you said, and then some other stuff like maybe C, to manage asynchronous code reviews across different time zones, and have those developers critique my code for changes or something, right? That way you have all of that. Then we get down to here, and mostly good. I actually really, really like this sentence. It's just they have to struggle through this garbage sentence right here, which is developed a full stack application using React, Node.js, PostgreSQL, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, good. Agile practices, eliminating paperwork. See, this is the part I don't care about. Again, you're trying to sneak in a little impression. You're trying to upsell me your skills. I don't need you to upsell me. I would say instead is you break this sentence into 2 sentences down here, because this has nothing I need, this has nothing I need, and this has nothing I need. So you only have one really good sentence. So I would break it into 2. Say, developed a full stack application using TypeScript, HTML, CSS in an agile environment to eliminate our paper-based workflows. Then the next one can say, used RESTful APIs, React, Node.js, PostgreSQL to blah, blah, blah. So again, you are very close. This is not a delete the whole thing and start again. I need a little bit more context about what you did without you trying to upsell me. And I need a little bit more of how you worked with other people and took direction and criticism. But the bones are there. And I think once you fix those, you should have a lot of interviews rolling in your way once the next round, whenever that is, of internships comes. So that's all I can do for this video. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and send it to your friends and family that need help. I am glad to help them out as much as I can. And if you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I will see you all in the next video.